Britain's next recession won't look like 2008. There likely won't be one cinematic crash where the country breaks. No single week when everything collapses on the evening news. It will look normal. Trains still run, shops still open, the Premier League still plays, the streets still feel familiar. But in the background, whole local economies quietly lose oxygen. Councils cut services because they simply can't fund them. Households stop spending because housing and energy eat the paycheck. And regions already fragile. Low productivity, weak private investment, aging demographics start slipping first. Not because people there are lazy, but because the maths of the model stops working. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The UK doesn't just have an economic problem, it has a geographic economic problem, a country where opportunity clusters and risk spreads. In today's video, I'm breaking down the 12 UK regions most exposed as Britain slips into recession-like dynamics. Weak output, rising inactivity, stretched public finances, housing stress, and a productivity gap that never closed. This isn't "these places will collapse tomorrow." To understand Britain's next downturn, track where the underlying systems are already failing first, and why. So first, zoom out. Britain's downturn works differently today. Modern UK recessions rarely start with factories shutting overnight. They begin with three quieter drags. 1. Households pull back because essentials rise faster than wages. 2. Local government buckles as costs rise faster than revenue, and the center doesn't backfill. 3. Private investment underdelivers because productivity is weak, uncertainty is high, and capital turns cautious. That mix doesn't hit the country evenly. It moves along fault lines: housing markets, public services, job quality, transport links, and the depth of local private sector ecosystems. Now we do the map. The East Midlands is the quiet squeeze region. Not glamorous, not protected, and heavily exposed to cost shocks. It has a legacy manufacturing footprint, many mid-wage households with tight budgets, and fewer gravity centers than regions anchored by a dominant global city. When recession shows up as a spending slowdown, the East Midlands is hit through retail pressure, fragile council finances, and the loss of solid jobs not replaced by high productivity work fast enough. Yorkshire and the Humber is the classic UK story. Big cities, big population, and a productivity and wage path that never escapes the long shadow of the past. So the recession channel is straightforward. Weak earnings make the consumer economy fragile. When households cut back, service sectors contract. Then local government strains intensify. And when councils are strained, everything that keeps places stable and investable gets rationed. Planning capacity, maintenance, social care, transport reliability. It's not ideology, it's arithmetic. The Northeast is structurally exposed after decades of lower output per head, thinner private sector depth, and higher sensitivity to public spending cycles. When growth slows, it doesn't just feel like a bad year. It feels like opportunity receding again, because the region's margin for error is smaller. If hiring stalls and investment pauses, the Northeast's recovery simply takes longer, again. The West Midlands is where the UK's local state problem became a headline problem. Birmingham's crisis wasn't just a Birmingham story. It was a warning of what happens when liabilities, service pressures, and funding constraints collide. In a downturn, the danger is a loop. Cuts reduce service quality. Service quality affects livability and investment appeal. Lower confidence weakens growth. Revenues fall. Then you cut again. That's how a recession becomes structural decline. The Northwest is two economies taped together. Manchester as a growth engine and a wide arc of towns that never fully replaced the industrial base with high productivity work. The vulnerability here is inequality within the region. In a downturn, a strong city can keep headlines optimistic, but it can't automatically pull the whole region forward. The pain spreads through low-wage service clusters, fragile high streets, and areas already carrying high inactivity and poor health outcomes. That's where recessions become political events. Wales is a productivity trap, not because Wales doesn't work, but because too much of the economy sits in low value-added patterns, with the public sector as the anchor. When a recession bites, Wales is exposed through fiscal dependence, weaker private investment depth, and limited-scale effects outside Cardiff. Stagnation can feel normal, until it suddenly isn't. Scotland's exposure is different, a mix of fiscal pressure, demographic drag in some areas, and the complexity of the energy transition. Moving from old revenue models to new engines is never frictionless, and downturns make it harder. In a recession, regions with high service costs and constrained revenue levers get squeezed first, and the politics gets ugly fast. Northern Ireland's vulnerability is structural dependence combined with political friction. Even when top-line unemployment looks okay, inactivity can mask fragility. In a downturn, the danger isn't just job losses, it's confidence. Investment pauses, households freeze. The economy becomes even more reliant on public transfers and political stability that can't always be assumed. Now, London. On paper, it looks rich, and it's brittle. The model is global services, property, and high-income clustering. The recession channel isn't that everyone is broke. It's that the city becomes unaffordable for the workforce it needs, while commercial property cycles and finance volatility amplify shocks. A city can post high GDP and still have a fragile operating reality. The Southeast is derivative prosperity. Many areas are London-linked rather than self-propelling. So when London hiring slows, hybrid work changes commuting, and house prices stop doing the wealth effect trick, the Southeast gets stress without a compensating engine. The East of England is a mixed bag. Strong pockets, but real exposure to housing affordability, logistics, and distribution work, and intense pressure on public services, where population growth outpaced capacity. The Southwest looks beautiful and stable, until you model it like an economy. Older demographics, housing distorted by second homes and holiday lets, seasonal lower-wage service dependence. When recession bites, tourism and discretionary spending fall first. If housing stays expensive while wages don't rise, it becomes a place people visit, not a place young workers can build a life. Now step back. The through line across all 12 isn't 1/4 of negative GDP. It's state capacity and regional resilience. When councils lose financial room, you don't just get worse bins and potholes. You lose the basic operating system of local growth, planning and delivery capacity, social care stability, skills, and community infrastructure. So the question isn't which region collapses, it's which regions can absorb shocks without turning them into permanent decline. That's the map, not a panic list, an exposure list. If you want, the next video can be the useful counterpart. The regions most likely to hold up best in a weak growth UK and what they have in common. Drop a comment. Which region is most vulnerable and what policy lever would actually help it? Please subscribe to my channel and share this video with others. I'll see you in the next one.